I'm Britton LaRue, and this is Moon to Moon. Moon to Moon is a space to consider, celebrate, and share the ways we come home to ourselves, anchor through change, and uncover our power. 1 month, one phase, one loving step at a time. Hello, Moon to Moon. It's Britton. It's Sunday, and I just recorded the sun transmission for you for celebrating the sun. I hope you're enjoying this series. I started it on Wednesday with Mercury. They're celebrating Mercury there. I've received many messages from you telling me how much you loved the Mercury. I'm so glad. I just had a feeling that had to be the lead. We had to begin with Mercury, patron of astrology. And then Thursday, celebrating Jupiter. On Friday, I did celebrating Venus. Yesterday, I put in celebrating Saturn. They're all, of course, very distinct, as you would imagine they would be, because my body is attuning to very distinct energies. And what wants to roll through is always going to be quite different for each one. I hope at this point you're feeling the drift of this project and appreciating what is resonating for you. I'm doing this project as a celebration of the 7 traditional planets that are guiding me through my guides that guide me as I create the promo pathway for Emergence Astrology Year 1, the first ever iteration, and who are basically the same guides that have always been informing me and guiding me as I have been learning astrology, reading astrology, speeching, I love that, speeching astrology, creating language to support anyone who resonates with my approach. I'm doing this daily project for a week in honor of my guides so that I can take some time out of my day to be with them and to invoke them and to speak love for them out into this world to those who want to receive. These are not teachings, they're celebrations. If my approach to astrology resonates with you, if you're like, man, I really love the way she speaks astrology. I really love living astrology. I really love those workbooks. I really love the way Britton talks here. That is what we're doing in Emergence Astrology Year 1. My voice will come to you to activate your own. I'm inviting you into a mystical experience of yourself with this language as an awakener and as a guide. You will be working with your own guides who may or may not be the same as my guides. That's mysterious. Who will be guiding you to see, hear, feel, and know a whole lot about yourself and about experience and about humanity and about being alive on our planet in this time. And I imagine that what comes through for you will not only change the course of your personal life, but will also shift the course of your devotions and your service and your art and craft, because it's all connected. And my approach to astrology is very much a decompartmentalized approach inviting you to let astrology take up a home inside of your body and become a part of every part of you and your life. I'm so honored to be your guide. Thank you for your yes, whether that's now for this iteration, a future iteration, or just coming to listen to Celebrating the Sun. Thank you so much. I'd love to know how it's landing for you. Sending you lots of love. The sun. The sun. The sun. The sun is a real way shower in the sense that the sun is about light and the power of our life force. It's about the sun is the life giver. And the sun's rays are the consequence of the giving of life and the being life, the being life force. And the rays of the sun are felt by all who have direct and indirect contact with it. But you don't have to see the sun to feel the consequence of the sun's sharing of its own force, the sun's sharing of its power. You know, I think that there's just so many ways in which we're confused about the sun in ourselves and everything. And I think a big part of this is a consequence of what we have in our culture, which is a deep failure of attunement. Most of us as children experienced some degree of failure of attunement, as in not being fully attuned to, seen in our sun self, seen for the life force being that we are, and what is deeply special about our unique sun force. And to the degree that we experienced a sense of lack of attunement, a kind of deprivation or withholding of that attunement, or deep distortions in the reflection of other people about the light of ourselves, so it is that behaviors, strivings, shame-based patterns, shame-based ways of seeing the world, shame-based ways of relating, shame-based ways of looking at time, shame-based ways of every fucking thing begin to come into a cycle that just keeps perpetuating itself until the gift of someone, something coming into our life that properly attunes to us and is able to reflect back an understanding that we've been seen. Not only have we been seen, but we're being validated in being seen. And not only are we being validated, but we're being celebrated. And what happens in this process is the most magical thing that there is, which is a just very natural repair and being attuned to. And from that attunement, all kinds of things can happen because we begin to not be confused anymore. That we are sun beings. We are beings of the sun. We are divinity. We are life force energy, animated inside of these bodies. All of us. Nobody doesn't have this. We're all kings and queens, suns. We all have a sun disk above our heads. But these failures of attunement in the family and in the community and in culture and in governments, systemically, collectively, the damage of this is a big damage, but it's extremely repairable because it's like we're actually meant to emanate our light brightly. That's what we came here to do. And the validation and the celebration of that authentically with true attunement, loving attunement, can completely shift the trajectory of our lives. Even someone who we don't even know them, like we'll never see them again. In the day-to-day of our lives, it feels true to me that we can have these moments of, I think I may have just been seen. And this can really shift like the whole next hour of your day. This can happen with yourself in the mirror. It can go one way or it can go other ways. Like what happens in the mirror is a really big signal about where we are in our process of attunement, attuning to our divinity and the truth of it, that we're here to emanate that out in our being self, And when it really feels impossible to get there in the mirror, it feels just miraculous and so helpful to have it boosted by people in our lives, teachers, healers, community, helping us remember when we forget about who we are as divine beings. The dream is that it's a self-validating process in the mirror and in every moment of this, the pure joy in loving yourself and emanating the being of love that you are. And also, there's a whole lot in this world that would ridicule us for such self-affirmation. Who do you think you are? That you can just love yourself. What a confused world we have here. This is irreparable. I see this again and again and again in my community spaces. I set up now my community spaces to be all about the witnessing, the validating, the celebrating of one another's lights so that we can begin moving into repair so that we can all be shining brighter and brighter and brighter in who we are. You know, I think I just was always really good at attuning to people. I mean, it's a pattern I can't pretend isn't there. It's from my whole life that people crave my attunement, and they crave, I don't say they meaning all people. I mean many people that I have known. Many people that I have known, like, really long to be seen through my eyes. It's like a respite or like a haven. And I just always felt like it wasn't difficult for me. Like, it wasn't difficult for me to just see someone's brightness, the brightness of just their being self, their sun self, like, not related at all to like what they do and what they've achieved. Like, it's a light thing. And then as I would come to have affection for people, I mean, they just become the most luminous bodies to me. Like, they just, everyone whose light I get to experience is so beautiful, you know, and like, it feels so good to be in their light. And I feel very natural at letting people feel my affection for them and my appreciation for their light. And, you know, if I have, you know, the gifts that I have many, many gifts. But one of those is just that, the gift of being very naturally attuned to the light in other people and not shy about letting people see how much I see that. It's just, it feels really good to me. But my journey is around feeling unseen for myself, you know? And I always just kind of have had this sense of I could see myself, but other people don't see this. Like, this sense that this is how reality works, that I see my luminous beauty and my big, huge spirit, but it's not something other people here see. It's like, it must be really hard to see it. It just felt like to me. And I think in many ways gave up on being seen. being seen for more than just like what I give, which is me seeing others. And if you were to look at my chart, you'd be like, yeah, Pisces 12th house. But this is so beyond charts. Like, I really think the way we present sun sign material, like, just instantly takes us away from the sun. Like, to like explain this is, it's like energetically we move very far away from what we're really talking about here. Like fixating on signs and houses when it comes to talking about the sun. It's like, come back to that when you're like real clear on sun. When you feel deeply connected to the sun in yourself and in other people, then let's think about placing this in the chart. Because focusing on this is my sign and where's my sun, what does my sun in my chart say, is like just not the thing we're actually talking about here. I think in many ways it's because, like the failure of attunement, we have a failure of language when it comes to the material of our divinity and our brightness, and how fucking powerful we are. Just raw material. I think that's probably threatening, and so as a language, like as an English language, the ability to really talk about it has been like removed from the language at some level. So it has to be something that's like very felt and received through other parts of us. Yeah. We've been from like, what is conditioning? Conditioning is the teaching of conditions, you know? And this has like been the most severe with the sun because of just such distortions. Because like, here it is, there are no conditions. It's unconditional, our sun self. It's inherent and unconditional, our power. Your brightness, the exquisite experience of your luminescence, the power that burns through and out of you, is not a conditional thing. It has nothing to do with like all the things that we put on top of like what makes beauty or what makes success or what makes power. All distortions when we're talking about the sun. Absolute distortions. It makes me very fucking pissed off, you know? Which is a sacred rage, which just puts me back to my service, which I love to do because it comes from love. Because love is the heart and the sun is the heart. And what our heart breaks for, that is some really important information about our service in the world, you know? What breaks your heart? It's like, are you looking for what your purpose is? Are you looking for where you want to give your energy? What breaks your heart? You know? It breaks my heart that we have this distortion. The sun's not very verbal because it's very fire. It's very, it's nonverbal. It's the spirit. It's energy. And we've just been taught to be so in our heads about stuff that we're disconnected. It's a weaving that is called for to reconnect us to the spirit self, the fiery self that just emanates. The sun is exalted in Aries. The sun rules Leo. Both are fire signs. Yeah, so our sun is not conditional. Our power is not conditional. It is not related to what we do or what we've achieved or how we look today. Is it like a good hair day or not? Now can be very difficult to, I don't mean difficult. I mean, it takes its time to untangle from the patterns, If you've been taught that if your eyes are puffy today, it's a crisis, then you can't just suddenly see yourself with a puffy face and be like, but none of that matters because it's all unconditional. Like it's a softening that happens slowly over time. It took this many years to build up the pattern. It's going to take time to unfurl from the pattern, but that doesn't mean it's not worth starting today. To me, the sun like time techne, the sun way of being is about seasonality here at the I guess you'd say eve, even though it's a few more days still to the summer solstice. When my Swedish relatives are celebrating midsummer and the sun doesn't set, they're very aware about the seasons of the sun up north. There's no darkness at the time of the midnight sun. And then in the winter, there's barely any sun at all. And those shifts that's some extreme seasonality that other parts of the world don't have as much of the extreme, but there are still shifts. There's still a sense of seasons. A season for this and a season for that. And so for me, I feel that the sun is about seasonality. So such that our power is not conditional to like, I'm feeling good today or I'm not feeling good today. I'm feeling sassy today. I'm feeling kind of nervous today. I'm feeling seen and celebrated today. I'm feeling unseen today. I'm feeling validated. I'm feeling not validated. Like what I'm feeling for the sun is that none of those conditions affect the sun. Like the sun is doing the sun no matter what season we feel ourselves to be inside, whether for an hour or for the day or for the month or the season or the year. The power is there always. The brightness of the love light is always there, but we may experience seasons when we feel a little more like like the light wants to be a little lower or is a little lower that day, but that doesn't mean it's not super powerful still. Your power is unconditional. You're powerful whether people sign up for your thing or they don't sign up for your thing. You're powerful whether you get feedback or you don't get feedback. And so, like something I've shared in the past, it's in the Seeding the Year transmission in January, is how I often hear about playing small. And that may feel like a sun thing because it's like the dimming of the light, you know? But usually when it's spoken, when people say this phrase, I am tired of playing small. First of all, it's deeply shaming to oneself to be so hard on oneself for quote unquote playing small. If one wants to come into class with me or work with me, I would want to redirect that self-talk into something more compassionate and generous with yourself. But this idea that we have in our culture around playing small is all achievement-based. You know, it's outcome-based. It's performance-based. And all of that is in the world of conditions. The conditions on our brightness, the conditions on our power. So it's all distortion. It's like there's no shame in wanting to achieve. Like, I love achieving. I'm here for achieving. But that's not my sun. And my sun is not touched by the fun achievement reality, you know? I'm going to go into the achievement reality where there's like achieving and not achieving, and I'm just going to go play there. And that's going to be an interesting time, but it has nothing to do with my sun. And I think that this kind of shift is really helpful as we're learning to trust in the unconditionality of our sun so that we can be. We can share it. We can sit inside of it and let ourselves be seen, letting ourselves be felt, letting ourselves be experienced, and letting ourselves be attuned to. Attuned to. Part of being a sun being is opening yourselves to others' attunement. So it's like circling back to failure of attunement. Like when we've experienced failures of attunement, we can close ourselves to the business of being seen. And this breaks my heart. So to me, it's like learning how to trust in attuning to oneself, attuning to others, and allowing yourself to be attuned to generates this power that the brightness of your sun self just will get bigger. It just will, because it's like activating the sun's desire, which is to love and to give love. To love and to give love. And what I learned from astrology as I started to teach it, and not just give readings, but like actually hold community space with astrology, is that astrology is a kind of speech of the sun that allows us to light up our tongues with the sun, to bring out the light in others and feel the light in ourselves grow bigger. Astrology is a way of opening up vulnerability speech, opening up witnessing, celebrating, unshaming, so that individuals feel themselves begin to brighten and soften, and some of the armor around our heart begins to release just naturally without even really trying. Just the chest begins to open and the armor begins to drop. The walls around the heart begin to fall down, and you begin to be a person who is in touch with their heart. And the more you trust your heart, the more you can allow it to be the navigator of your life. So you don't have to figure it all out, but the heart will guide you. So to me, astrology is not the navigator. Astrology is a speech of the sun. It is an energy passed between us through words and feelings for attunement. And it is the attunement that repairs the heart so that the heart can be the navigator. But this is, of course, as within and so without, because your heart is the sun. So again, astrology is like following the stars. The stars as the sun. The sun is a star. It's like this process is meant to be led through the mirroring and the interrelationality between our sun and your inner sun, your heart. And this process wants to be part of a larger repair because we have all received, quote unquote, sun damage. It's the damage of not being truly attuned to in our being self, so that we got confused that there were conditions around our divinity. This is an incredibly beautiful process, and one that will be central to Emergence Astrology year 1, 2, and 3, and is truly at the heart of everything that I do. I think I may be feeling complete and perfect. All right. Thank you so much. If you've been loving these and you've never left a review for Moon to Moon, I'm inviting you to finish this episode now by going and rating and reviewing Moon to Moon. It would be such a loving gesture, and I can't wait to receive. Thank you so much. Cheers.